You gotta make me you gotta make me become a crusader for Trump supporters. Because reason being, right, is that when some people fail, it's not free. Because they have too much resources and they're too well supported, that if they fuck up, somebody else gets blamed. And that's the kind of shit that if we act like we don't see it, or act like you don't know, then you compromise your own, I don't want to say it's you're responsible to stop whatever you're doing and speak up, because maybe you're doing something else, and the onus or the responsibilities on anybody who has your competency level, who is not preoccupied with something too important than to talk about these things, which, you know what I mean, is me, because I don't have those responsibilities. So like Paul Pelosi, right? He picks up street people. He's not the first one to do this shit. There's Ed Buck, right? A serial, almost a serial killer, because he may have, who knows how many times he's gotten away with it, but he got off the hook after the third time. The third time that we know about, the guy survived. So he's gonna be able to testify, I guess. But we're not hearing anything about that. Paul Pelosi, drunk driver, repeated drunk driver too, because he started out his life drunk driving. Like, he got his brother killed in drunk driving. But so he gets his brother killed for his drunk driving, but for his picking up street people and getting attacked with a hammer, he's gonna get, you know, the good old boys in trouble again. I don't know how that works out, because the good old boys are today's what is considered to be conspiracy theory. It used to be like someone on the left was the conspiracy theory back in the 80s and 90s. It's like back then Dennis Kucinich was like the only person with any scruples, you know what I mean? Now I don't even know that guy. I wouldn't even, you know what I'm saying? Who is he now? You know what I mean? You'd have a back. It's just another backdoor scenario. It's just, you're just like, you're just there to give them a little bit of lift and a little bit of air underneath their wings. That's it. And so, I mean, they got to promote something like an idea that we reject offhand, but we're not guarding right now, which is like, there's, you know, you got to sell you on the idea that there's a good politician or something. They're afraid that it's not that you don't like anyone in particular, because they can offset that, you know, by positioning around and everything. But for us to lose faith in institutions and government and the politicians and the bureaucracies, oh no, like, who cares? Like, that's not, I guess you have to be one to appreciate yo, like, what did Cenk Uygur say? Like, real people are not like I don't know, doing like menial labor jobs. It's the people that have to make responsible decisions and high-minded and be thinking all the time. Like those are the people, like they can't be bothered in their thoughts. Like we have to really like, but that's just an idea in some crazy, that's just an idea in some crazy's head. For the rest of the time, you gotta be yourself. You gotta live out your destiny. You gotta be who you're meant to be. So let me just get this over. Let me go over this thing, okay? Nobody is really trying to insist or tell me that Paul Pelosi didn't get attacked by some street person that he brought over to his house. That's just the media. Nobody's really watched the media these days. So if I go out and I see somebody that thinks that they quote unquote like these people for some reason, like at least he doesn't lie, like at least she doesn't lie, at least he doesn't lie, you know what I mean? They need you to believe that there's such a thing as a good politician. I don't know what that means, okay? It's a message, okay? I'm just delivering the message. We're still, I mean, because everybody doesn't get it. Yeah, they don't get it. Yeah, I get it. But they don't get that you can't rob Peter to pay Paul, that there's going to be people that has no choice. Because these politicians are the reason why people have to rob Peter to pay Paul. So somebody has to rob Peter to pay Paul who knows that this can't be. And then somebody who doesn't have to rob Peter to pay Paul doesn't know that you can't rob Peter to pay Paul. It's like, it's the question of who is doing it. It's the question of who thinks that you can. You know you have to. You know you don't want to, but you have to. But who thinks that it's okay? Who thinks that you can? And it's going to be somebody who just like, oh, you know what? I can't go down for fucking hiring a male prostitute. Like, I'm married. I'm obviously straight. Like, I'm not one of these down low people who gets everybody else fucked up because they got to guard their secrets and they got to cover up stuff, and they got the resources. So I'm not blaming anybody for oppressing me. I'm just saying, I'm seeing they are attacking so-and-so or over there, a flag on the play. I'm just calling the flag on the play. I'm not saying that they did this to me. Anybody who's watching this probably already knows where I'm coming from, and so I'm not changing anybody's mind. You know, they were saying that that people, dangerous people in these echo chambers, are making it a threat, causing some kind of, I don't know. Basically, what I'm doing right now. So but I don't think that by doing this I'm doing anything they don't like either. It's to get past this. It's not, you know, for me to be getting upset and complaining and calling shit corrupt and everything. They probably like that. You know what I mean? Imagine if I didn't have to. Imagine if I wasn't. Imagine if it was redundant and or superfluous. Imagine if it was this, what I'm doing right now is some kind of extracurricular and he only has to do it because it's happening to him. If this doesn't happen to me, if I don't get libeled, if I don't get thrown under the bus, then who am I to complain? It's not really logic. And then I don't think I'm some kind of like hero, savior or anything. Like, again, I'm in this echo chamber. I'm only talking to the people that really checks in, which I know of to be like 3 or 4 people. They might see it, they might not. So I'm talking to them. If you think about it, I'm talking to them. So you need another example of overextending bureaucrat. This is going to be like warning you about the activity that I'm doing right now. This is what you brought them on to protect you from. You're paying taxes and everything. It's to keep me from doing this. So I'm not saying that this is like, because I'm in an echo chamber. Remember, they said they didn't want people in their echo chambers fomenting dangerous rhetoric, inappropriate beliefs that we're voicing and shit like that. It's a threat matrix. So I mean, I'm not trying to challenge them and say, why didn't you stop me or anything? Because it would be like a challenge to a psycho. Just try to shut one more thing down and be, you know what I mean? But then I don't think that's the point, though. It's not the point. They're not talking to regular people. They're talking to people who are into the experimentalism and the libeling and the pettiness. They're into it to a degree that they attach those terms like anti this, anti that, alt this, alt whatever. Like, I mean, to call me alt is just as, and you're saying that I'm alternated from my being. Even if that's a little bit true, I'm still not gonna want to hear it. That's still gonna be like acid in my ears. I'm still gonna be like, fuck you, who the hell are you saying this, you know? To just considering, I mean, I guess if you don't care, then it doesn't matter. If you say that to someone, just make sure that you better not care about that person. Then anti, okay, you're dichotomizing as dualistic. Yet you have to have a duality for me to be anti anything. And then whatever the antithesis is, you can't be either that. You can't be the perfectly juxtaposed to my protagonist. You can't be that person for me. Who am I to fucking insinuate that you could be juxtaposed to my protagonist? You probably helped me invent the protagonist. You know what I mean? Like, you're contributing, like people like that, because you'll be contributing to something, an ideal or something, and then when boom, I have it. Okay, now I'm gonna gaslight you, and you're gonna try to live up to this ideal, even though I'm not the Most High. And we're gonna graft plausible deniability over to my non-government organization or political action group. We're got PR. It's public public what's it called? So that's the thing. public relations is going to be the same thing as, when you don't have any positive attributes to draw from, it's going to be the same thing as throwing Joe in the volcano. It's going to go directly to Joe in the volcano to get the plot. So somebody's going to have to be a one-dimensional evil character. Like Snidely Whiplash. Because in order to be one-dimensionally evil, you have to take the extra time afforded by a train whistle to let you know that you can still save the damsel in distress, and you still have so many minutes before it hits her. And then you take that extra time to consider letting her go, but you just play with your mustache instead while you listen to the train whistle. That's as one-dimensional evil as you can get. So why people pretend that I'm going to entertain your victimization so that you could say that you're battling back when you're out of the fight, when you're not in the fight at all. So you can say that you're being strong. And then I gotta overlook shit like there's a effort to establish a Chinese-style military junta in Ethiopia with their Nobel laureate party leader that wants to align with the enemy of their state to legal style annex to Tigray. And they're not allowed journalism, and so that should be interesting to all you people who want to go and stand, because before it was saying stand with Ukraine, they were already saying stand with Tigray. So they just took it, the concept of stand with Tigray. I know it sounds crazy because you could just stand with anybody, you know what I mean? But no, you're saying y'all just blink. Psh. Nobody's talking about that, so you don't have nothing to say. No, it's not. It doesn't come on your. It doesn't come on your primetime boob tube TV. It doesn't come on for you to watch the people that tell you what to think to talk about it. So it's not like, what did you hear about that on YouTube or something? And you know what I mean? Then you got to belittle, so nobody want to fucking talk to you, because you got to belittle them, so they're not going to have a they know they're not going to have a conversation. It's not going to speak to anything that they're thinking about, or that they're concerned or about, that they're even thinking of. It doesn't help you flesh out any more clarity if I talk to somebody who's going to belittle you, that shows you that they refuse any input in this general talk. Like, they want to deny the existence of something. Let them deny it, the existence of it. But it's kind of hard when those are your relatives. You can't do. That's when you're finding out that you can't do regular normal shit anymore. And they're putting their foot down, and you know what I'm saying, like, they're saying, no, we're not tolerating any more of this. But they want to be eugenists, and they want to be fascistic, and they don't want to acknowledge how this do as I say, not as I do ideology has fucked us up, our generation and everything. Or they still want to cuck even when you're grown, even after you're 18 years old. Because, shacking up and everything, and they had to cuck the children in the relation, in the marriage. There's children, they had to cuck them, because they had to tell them, look, we're shacking up because I think this so-and-so is a better parent for you, and not because they were shacking up. They didn't have the most strongest natural instinct in nature to want to have sex. They got together out of consideration and compassion to want to bring new life into the world, out of commitment and consideration and compassion. So when they don't have those things, somebody has to get libels and slandered and demeaned and defamed and out with the old, in with the new, yay, like they're gonna sell like a celebration. So they don't really like, shit like Mardi Gras. They let the fucking levee, the dam, break. But if you're demonstrating, they like that. But your celebration, they don't like that. A demonstration, just like Mozzarella Fella was talking about. Mozzie, the rapper, and his not uplifting music that doesn't really help anybody. I'm talking about sometimes they say something that's still true. That's still like